Alright, the Russians continue to crowd units around here. No problem. This unit's out of fuel anyway. Yeah. Whatever happens, the attack must proceed. That is a lot of Soviet units. Okay. Wow. Actually, this will allow me to resupply this unit to some extent. Now, I could swap this unit out. Oh, it's a shame I couldn't finish it off. Grenadiers are a bit damaged, but that's fine. Let's get we'll swap my units around a bit. And next turn, I should be able to finish off even more of these Soviet forces. I need to refuel this unit. I am 90% confident the Soviets don't have any more anti-aircraft, any more fighters. But 90% is not good enough to risk my Ju-87G. So, I'm going to think about this series of moves for a little bit. Yeah. That's okay. I really need to resupply that. Right. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, this is the better move. Plenty of artillery cover. The swamp protects my southern flank. For instance, that T-34 can move through the forest. That costs 2 move. The swamp 4 move. It'll be stuck in the swamp. So I have nothing to worry about. In fact, given how much artillery I still have, might as well cause some havoc here. This recon unit performance has been lackluster. Alright, that's good. Now there may be one more wave of Soviet units from the south, but I think the remainder of the Soviet attacks will be focused on the north. The main thing I have to remember is that I moved out both of the what's I saying? I moved out. I weakened, I should say, both of the Soviet bombers so they could return. That's the main thing to keep in mind. Interesting. There's another Soviet bomber. That's a new one. Interesting. Is that Yak 3? No, that's Yak 1B. Okay. That was very good luck for the T-34. I have 1 to 4 odds. Huh. Alright, now the situation is a little trickier. Soviet units continue to advance, which is annoying me. Fortunately, without fighter cover, those units are extremely vulnerable to any sort of attack. On the other hand, Soviets have brought up a number of self-propelled artillery, which will make the urban warfare scenario trickier. I'm gonna have to think about this. Alright, I haven't quite thought through all of my moves, but I've decided upon a series of easy moves that are obvious to make. So we'll do those first. Joseph Stalin tank, no match against my towed anti-tank gun. Almost nothing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if I do that, I only have 2 moves left. So what I need to do is this. Reason why I want to move over here is because I want to look to see what else the Soviets have. Okay, there is one of those self-propelled anti-aircraft guns. That's what I did not want to run into. Because the best way to deal with sort of artillery is pretty simple. Send out your Ju-88 and that's that. But I see the anti-aircraft gun. I'm not so keen on doing that anymore. So we're gonna switch up my tactics yet again. We are just gonna weather this onslaught. Yeah. Alright, so what's the plan here? Once again, we'll make some of the more obvious moves first. Five-string fighter is hardly useless. Next, unfortunately, I am mostly out of ability to suppress, but that's fine. Especially if I can one-hit kill. Move my grenadiers up. This will go back to escape. And there we go. Fences are still holding. Next, let's push the attack. Push the attack forward. No. That looks good. pause briefly here. Alright, and I am back. So, there's actually a bit of a problem here. The AI has 2 artillery within range of my mountaineers. And if it fires with those and then attack and force the mountaineer to retreat in unacceptable direction, that could cause all sorts of problems. So, I feel like I have no choice but to risk my Stuka. Let's also send a different fighter bomber to present a more tempting target for the AI to attack, and we will weaken these 2 units. A bit of a risk in terms of strength points, but I think is well worth it. This will basically guarantee, I mean, this unit may not be at 15 strength, but 5 stars and heroes, it's basically invincible, so I'm not worried about it. Then, I'm going to move my Tiger tank up and my Ferdinand. Depending on the situation, I may be able to launch a flanking counterattack north. But, even if we assume that's off the table, that may not necessarily be a problem. I'm going to bring my infantry up now. In fact, let's bring our T-34 south. So the situation around Kiev is still very dangerous, but I feel like I got a handle on this. So let's proceed. I actually am surprised that the AI attacked into my mountaineers with that engineer. I mean, as you can see, the combat results were plenty favorable. But still surprised me. Want a Stuka at a safe airfield. I did lose some strength points on a fighter, but not a big deal. Alright. Reinforce that back. It still will be very valuable. KV-1C. Wow, if a Joseph Stalin 1 tank was in a match, KV-1C is even sorely more pressed. So I'm going to have to provide artillery cover now in the middle. So how do I want to do this? I have this unit that I can utilize. I mean, that Soviet engineer is such a tempting target to destroy. Excellent. if I do this, this also solves the problem. Don't need artillery support for my super unit. Combat engineers aside, I'm not too worried. But you know what? I think the Soviet Air Force is going to be passive for a few more turns. So I might as well move this unit here. Reinforce that. And the situation is still good. So ISU 152, ugh, those units are tough. Can be annoying when a regular does stuff like that, but it's irrelevant in the long run. Let's position a Panther there. Yeah. Huh. Okay, that works for me. So I could potentially go out and launch a flanking attack. It depends on how the situation unfolds. Press the attack. I would say that's a rather successful series of moves. Soviet armies in this sector have been annihilated. And there's not too much left of Soviet resistance. I want to start preparing for my counterstroke. Although I guess what I should do is I should scout out a bit more. If there are Soviet tanks, I'll be able to deal with them. The rough terrain should protect me from counterattacks. And of course, let's actually shift an artillery north. Might be needed there. And my anti-aircraft gun, I guess, can also go north. The Soviets are fixated on that location. Use a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun to defend the other locations. Don't need to capture that just yet. Keep this stuck here. Alright. Then we'll start finishing off some of these planes, mostly because they provide spotting for the AI. I don't like that. Otherwise, my forces will beat a hasty retreat. Not bad. I do anticipate that the Soviets will attack this position aggressively. Could be problematic. They might be able to break through. So I might be regretting my moves, but let's hope not. Looks like I will regret it. Is that another Yak 3? That's 2 of them. Okay. Wow. It's a lot of Soviet fighters. No problem though. No problem for the well prepared. Oh right, I have an anti-aircraft gun. That works beautifully. And that takes care of even more of the Soviets' best fighters. Good. Recon unit here. Wonder what else might be coming out to attack me. Only one way to find out. Okay then. So, additional Soviet conscripts might be approaching. Well, they can only approach single file, so that's good. Bit risky to do this, but I want to get my troops over as fast as possible. Unfortunately, without recon, I don't feel very good about crossing the river. So all my heavy tanks are sort of stuck now. That's a waste.
This unit really should conserve ammo as much as possible. So... I can finish it off next turn. Yes, I too will conserve ammunition. And resupply some of my units partially. Alright. Taken out the, or nearly taken out the anti-aircraft gun, but unfortunately I cannot see into that fog. So put my Stuka here. This unit will refuel. And otherwise, I am just going to continue holding my position until a more favorable opportunity presents itself. I am 80% sure that I would defeat the Soviet attacks from the south, but there may be like one final smallish wave. Most of the rest of the attack should be concentrated on Kiev. Oh, that's not good. If infantry move up, that artillery is going to get destroyed. Yeah. Huh. Maybe not. Good luck. It does have a Defense 3 hero, but still. That is pretty good luck. I'm not going to complain. Alright. So, what's the correct solution here? Is not to move this infantry back. No, the correct answer is this. Next, we continue to attack and continue to destroy the vulnerable targets. It's anti-aircraft gun, but there's no anti-aircraft gun there. Aha, there's my opportunity. Eh. Huh. Alright, that takes care of that. Next, let's take care of this conscript. Should retreat onto there. Yep.
And I am back. Unfortunately, I seem to have lost a bit of video to another crash, but there shouldn't be too many more problems, I hope, in this playthrough. So, let's resupply this unit, and let's consider the situation here. This anti-tank gun has 3 defenses. Okay. So, another Yak-3 has showed up. Quite irritating. Let's see if I can't force this surrender with just mountaineers. Actually, that's almost certainly not going to happen. So, this is what we're going to do. Mountaineers have taken quite a bit of damage, but that's okay. Actually running out of Soviet tanks to kill here. On the other hand, the the Pioneers are excellent against... so do I really even need this unit there? Let me think. Move this up. No problem. Resupply. And then the Soviets will start to send some more units in, but shouldn't be too big of a problem. The only issue I have is I can't see anything here. A few Soviet conscripts will continue to attack here, but again, I'm not too worried.
do our best to take care of the Soviet artillery. The Yak-3 has very good initiative, unfortunately. Should have tried to get some mass attack bonuses going there. Whoops. Now, what should I use this bomber on? That didn't quite work. I don't have the range. Alright. We're gonna pull this unit back. I'll put it here for now and bring the infantry forward so I can use it next turn. There's at least, I'm sure, one more wave of Soviet bombers. Same time, I'm a little concerned about moving out. It's just, well, you know, sometimes you just gotta do it. Okay. I don't anticipate any serious amount of trouble, but I just truly hope there isn't any. Transfer this unit north. We'll move out some units in preparation for a potential counterattack. This anti-tank gun can be kind of annoying, but it should be busy guarding that victory hex and too distracted to do anything else. This is potentially a very risky maneuver. Let's hope my decision is vindicated. Right, I have some more fighters. So Joseph Stalin tank there? That's problematic. Alright, alright. It looks like the AI is buying T-34s, which to counterattack. Alright. Wow, situation is certainly difficult. Looks like I shouldn't have moved that anti-tank gun out of the way, because now I could use it. Have no fear though, the 88 gun is still a wonder weapon. I want a chance to clear out some of these units here, so I can start attacking the artillery.
I should be able to actually force that Josef Stalin tank to surrender using the strategic bomber. And let's... Actually, if I attack it and it survives, it's out of ammo, so it's no threat. But I could also attack it and just kill it, which also works. It's supposed to snow next turn. That could be dangerous. Let us assume that it is going to snow next turn. That could present some good opportunities. Hmm. Right. Oh, this is very dangerous. Damn. Well, that SU-152 could potentially force a surrender on my infantry. There is actually a reasonably good chance that could happen. Damn. Unless I make a very bold maneuver and try to attack. Okay, in a situation like this, what we need is more spotting information. What I need to know is what is going on. We're gonna put the recon unit here. Okay. Well, that information, unfortunately, by itself is not quite enough. Also need to know what's here. Wow. That is problematic. Very problematic. Too many conscripts. Ugh. Okay, okay. Hmm. horde of conscripts. Hopefully the artillery won't be able to do enough damage to me, but to make sure that there are no problems, we'll attack the conscript down to 11 strength. Hopefully it won't even be able to wow, what am I going to do with this elephant? It's sort of stuck here. Move the tiger tank out a bit. Sometimes bold maneuvers are required. Putting the Panther into force is obviously not the correct move, since instead of losing an infantry, I'll just lose a Panther. That's worse, but sometimes it is imperative to try to do what I can here. I still don't like this. I should be okay though, unless I get really unlucky. Alright, I also changed my mind about deployment. Looks like I am going to move my anti-tank gun back to this area. Mountaineers can retire now. I'm a bit worried about this unit being without ammo. In the bad weather, that could prove fatal. Well, no time to worry about that. Alright, I think this is good. We'll simply keep my troops deployed thusly. And when the snow comes, my pioneer should at least survive any attacks, especially with artillery behind it. There really isn't anything else I can do, unfortunately, so this is gonna have to do.